All right, today we are diving headfirst into one of the greatest stories ever told. We're cracking open the very first chapter of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms. So the book kicks off with this absolutely beautiful, kind of profound poem. It's all about how even the greatest heroes, all their wins and losses, just get washed away by time, like waves in a river. It perfectly sets the stage for this epic tale where fortunes are made and lost in the blink of an eye. Okay, let's get into it. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the Han Dynasty basically falling apart. Then we'll see the famous Peach Garden Oath, where our heroes come together. We'll follow them into their first victories, see how other warlords start popping up in all the chaos, and then, and this is the really fun part, we'll take a look at what's romance versus what's actual history. All right, so where does this epic story begin? Well, it's not with shining heroes on horseback. Nope. It starts with an empire that's just rotting from the inside out. The Han Dynasty is on its last legs, and you can see the cracks forming everywhere. So under this guy, Emperor Ling, things get really weird. It's like the land itself is screaming that something is wrong. First, you get this giant green serpent just appearing on the emperor's throne. Then, a massive earthquake hits the capital. And get this, hens start turning into roosters. It's all seen as these terrible omens, right? Signs that the heavens have abandoned the dynasty. And all this chaos and fear, it's the perfect tinder for the firestorm that's about to erupt, the Yellow Turban Rebellion. And who's pulling the strings behind the scenes? Well, you've got this group of corrupt eunuchs called the 10 Attendants. These guys have the weak emperor wrapped around their little finger. They're selling government positions, ignoring the starving people, just bleeding the country dry. The emperor even calls their leader his foster father. It's this absolute mess at the top that creates the perfect breeding ground for a massive rebellion. So, into this powder keg step the three Zhang brothers. And they're not your typical rebels. They're using Taoist mysticism, promising the desperate, starving people a whole new world, a yellow heaven. They get hundreds of thousands of followers with this super simple but really powerful slogan. The blue sky is dead, the yellow sky will rise. And that's the spark that just sets the whole empire on fire. Okay, so crisis can create villains, for sure, but it also creates heroes. Let's shift gears now to this little county called Jiao, because a simple government poster, a call for soldiers, is about to change the course of history by bringing three incredible men together. So the first of our trio is Liu Bei, and this guy is fascinating. He's supposedly descended from royalty. He's got the long earlobes and long arms to prove it. But he's living in poverty, literally weaving and selling sandals to take care of his mom. So he sees this poster calling for heroes to save the empire, and he just lets out this huge sigh. He wants to help, but he feels completely powerless. And that sigh does not go unnoticed. Suddenly, this booming voice yells at him, "Hey, a real man should be out there serving his country, not standing around sighing." This is Zhang Fei. He's got the head of a panther, eyes like saucers, and a voice like thunder. He's a rich butcher, a wine seller, and he has absolutely zero patience for inaction. So Zhang Fei basically drags Liu Bei to a tavern to talk it over, and that's where they see him, a third man. This guy is a giant, like 9 feet tall, with this incredible 2-foot-long beard and a face the color of a dark date. This is Guan Yu. And it turns out he's a fugitive, on the run because he stood up for someone and killed a corrupt official. Just like them, he's looking for a way to fight for the empire. They all realize they're on the same page, right? So Zhang Fei, being the guy he is, says, "Come to my place." And there, in his beautiful garden full of blooming peach trees, they do something legendary. They make offerings, kneel down, and swear an oath that will bind them together as brothers for the rest of their lives. And just listen to this vow. We don't ask to be born on the same day, but we ask to die on the same day. Wow. That right there, that becomes the absolute core of their entire story. It's not just a promise, it's the sacred pact. From this point forward, these three are absolutely unbreakable. So now they're sworn brothers. Some local merchants are so impressed that they fund them, and they pull together a small force of about 500 men. And they do not waste a single second. They get their weapons, they get their armor, and they ride straight into the fight. And you see right away how perfectly they work together. It's almost unreal. In their very first battle, Zhang Fei just charges in with his massive spear and bam, impales one of the enemy leaders. Then Guan Yu swings his incredible green dragon crescent blade and literally cuts the other commander in half. With the leadership gone, Liu Bei leads the charge, and the whole rebel army, all 50,000 of them, just crumbles and runs.
But here's the thing. It's not just about brute strength. Their next big fight is to save the city of Qingsu. And this time, it's Liu Bei who really shines. He proves he's not just a noble leader, he's a smart strategist. He sets up this brilliant ambush, a classic pincer move, and their tiny force just crushes the huge rebel army. The siege is broken, and the city is saved.
Okay, so our three brothers are making a name for themselves, but they are not the only ones out there. You have to remember, this massive rebellion, this chaos, it's also a massive opportunity. And a lot of other ambitious, powerful men are seeing it as a chance to grab some power for themselves. And that brings us to this guy, Cao Cao. We just get a quick intro to him here, but it's a memorable one. He's described by a famous judge of character with this incredible line: a capable minister in peace, a treacherous hero in chaos. How perfect is that? It just nails his whole personality. He's brilliant, he's pragmatic, but he's also absolutely ruthless. And trust me, he is going to be a huge player in this story. Then there's Dong Zhao. He's another one of these powerful warlords, and we get a perfect snapshot of his personality. The three brothers literally save his army from being wiped out, and what does Dong Zhao do? He asks them what their official rank is. When Liu Bei says they don't have one, he just scoffs and dismisses them. Just total contempt. Zhang Fei is so furious he wants to kill him on the spot. It tells you everything you need to know about Dong Zhao's arrogance. So you have to ask, why is the story still so popular hundreds and hundreds of years later? Well, a huge part of its magic is this amazing blend of fact and fiction. It takes real history and weaves it into this unforgettable legend. So let's do a little digging. Let's separate the romance from the reality and see what the history books actually say about all this. Okay, first up, that incredible Peach Garden Oath, the scene that defines their entire relationship. Well, what if I told you it probably never happened? Yeah, there's no actual historical record of any ceremony like that. The history books just say the three of them were as close as brothers. So the author of the novel likely invented that whole beautiful scene to really show us that bond, to make us feel it. And it's not just events that get an upgrade. Sometimes heroic deeds they get reassigned. Take the famous story from a later chapter where Guan Yu slays the fearsome warrior Hua Xiong. It's one of his most legendary moments. But if you look at the historical records, Hua Xiong was actually defeated and killed by the forces of a totally different warlord, a guy named Sun Jian. The novel gives the kill to Guan Yu to build up his legend. And that really gets to the heart of the novel's genius, what one historian called the 7 parts fact, 3 parts fiction formula. It's brilliant. It's rooted in real people and events, so it feels authentic. But it punches up the key moments to make them more dramatic. Inventing the oath gives our heroes this powerful, moral high ground. Giving Guan Yu that famous kill helps turn him into the legendary god of war we know. It's all about making a better, more emotionally resonant story. And so that's our deep dive into the beginning of this amazing saga. It really leaves you with a big question, doesn't it? What makes a story truly timeless? Maybe it isn't just about sticking to the facts of what happened. Maybe the stories that really endure are the ones that show us what we wish had happened. These incredible tales of honor, of unbreakable brotherhood, and of heroes standing tall against absolutely impossible odds.